Well, it's the first round of the new playoff system with college football. It's 12-team playoff. Fun times, fun weekend. We look ahead to that, but we also get into Bill Belichick going to the college football. Seriously? Really? But then we talk about Travis Hunter winning the Heisman, what it means for him, what it means for Ashton Gentry, and what it means for others. We also discussed what's going on with Marshall and how they won their conference, qualified for a bowl, and they decided not to play because they don't have enough players. So we get into all of that, all kinds of fun. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe to us. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, Blue Sky, the new system. We're also on YouTube and wherever else you may find your podcast. Welcome to the number one local sports podcast in Central Florida. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capison. I'm here with Dorian Cody
Hello.
and BJ Thomas.
Yellow.
So, gentlemen, this is the first weekend of the first ever 12-team playoff in college football. That is super cool, although I wish the games were somewhat better. We'll get to the games in a minute, but I do want to start with the Heisman that was announced last Saturday. Um, Dorian, I'm sure I know your thoughts, but I will start with you first. What are your thoughts?
I mean, he's definitely deserving of it, especially being able to play those many snaps on both sides of the ball and be effective. Um, you know, and he's been dominant on the defensive side to where teams didn't throw to his side. So that says a lot too. Um, I mean, all four of the Heisman candidates are deserving to win it. From Dylan Gabriel, he led Oregon to an undefeated season. Uh, with Ashton Genty with his rushing yards. But I will say this about Ashton Genty, right? I'm not discrediting what he's done this year because what he did is amazing. However, I do agree with some sports commentators where if he was playing in the SEC, like for example, they were comparing his numbers to Mark Ingram's, right? And even though he had more rushing yards than Mark Ingram, and he had more touchdowns than Mark Ingram, but what Mark Ingram was able to do with the Tide to win that Heisman in the SEC that time was remarkable. And if Ashton Genty was playing in the SEC, could he have that same success? Possibly, yeah. Um, but again, kudos to Travis Hunter and winning the Heisman.
I mean, the interesting thing about Genti is you think, well, okay, so the competition you played now, yes, the Mountain West is not the SEC or the Big Ten, 100%. But when he played a team from the Big Ten, played the number one team in the nation, that you said, the undefeated team, he had 192 yards, averaged 7.7 yards a carry. So now, could he have done that for an entire season against a conference schedule of the Big Ten and the SEC? I don't know. Will be interesting to see how he does in the playoffs.
Hmm.
And so, BJ, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't know. Dude was pretty impressive. Genty was pretty impressive all year. I mean, I guess it could have gone either way. I'm not too upset that he got it. But no, it's a tough decision. It's just one of those years where somebody had a really amazing year and somebody else had something that we've never seen, and it's just the immovable object, the you know,
Irresistible force.
yes, irresistible force and the immovable object. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah, and somebody had a good point. It's like in baseball, you have Shohei Ohtani the first year that he was pitching and hitting and being amazing at both. I think that was the year that Aaron Judge had an amazing year. I mean, okay, cool. We've seen people have years like Aaron Judge. Had not seen people do Shohei Ohtani stuff since Babe Ruth. It's kind of the same thing here. I mean, Travis Hunter did stuff that has not been done since the 30s.
For sure.
Um, who was the last? Oh, so I also saw something online where they were comparing Travis Hunter to Charles Woodson.
Well, I mean, it's an obvious comparison. They were the only two that played more than like 50 snaps on defense to win the Heisman.
I will say this about Genty though. You keep using the Oregon game as a big deal. They have the 35th ranked rushing defense in the nation, below teams like Michigan State, James Madison, Arkansas, UCF, Georgia Tech, Auburn, Arizona State, and that vaunted Iowa defense you always talk about.
So, and the reason why I do that, and it's a good point, is because it's the only data point that we have.
Yeah, but we need to mention that it's a weak one,
Fair.
a pretty damn weak one.
So, on the flip side,
Who are they facing first?
Well, they have a bye.
Okay, what are the two teams they might have to deal with?
Pull it up right now. SMU or Penn State.
Okay, Penn State's number 9, and SMU's number 4. We'll learn something about him in the second round of the playoffs.
Which does beg a question. Should they give the Heisman after all of the games are completed?
Nah, there's no need to change all that.
Okay.
I mean, it's been this way for forever.
Mm.
I don't see any point in adjusting it at this point.
It's one of those things where it's been this way forever and it's not broken. Because just
No.
because it's the way we've always done it doesn't mean that you can't be changed. But it's not broken. Now, what does need to be changed is the transfer portal. And I know like all the red hats are going to get, like no. So the transfer portal, in my opinion, needs to be opened once the bowl games are over. I don't know, you guys probably don't follow it because I'm the biggest nerd on this show. But did you see what happened with Marshall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
everybody
players left
leaving.
after the coach left.
Yeah, which they have every right to do.
To a smaller degree, that's what happened to Alabama last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was Alabama hadn't played the bowl had already played the bowl game. Marshall had not. So I don't blame the players at all, and I don't blame the AD going, look, we can't field a competent team. Look what happened to Florida State. We ain't doing that.
Mm.
Now, again, no issue with the coach leaving. That's that's the American way. No issues with the players leaving. That's exactly what they should do. My issue is the dipshits online that are like, well, these players are being selfish. No, they're not. They're doing exactly what you would do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just because the skin color is a little darker than yours doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong.
I don't even know if that's all of it.
You think it's an age thing?
Oh, most of the people that are whining are the same people that don't want free healthcare and free education. They want to make sure that the younger generation suffers to the same level that they did because I don't know why.
Well, suffering makes people stronger. It's like, no, like me as a parent, I want my children to have a better life than I had. Because frankly, my life growing up was shit. So I would like my children to have better. That's me as a responsible parent. My bad.
Yeah, but with the transfer portal, like you said before, like yeah, I do agree. Waiting till after the bowl games are played would be essential, and plus also too, for those individuals who are thinking about going to the transfer portal, that gives them another shot at playing to know, hey, should I transfer? Should I stay? Or maybe I had such a great game to where I could try to draft. Like it gives you a little bit more options, in my opinion, if you wait till after. If the NCAA is able to create to where, hey, like after the bowl game is when you can do the transfer portal, or at least after the season, after the playoffs. Like once we have a national champion, like the NFL, right? Once the off season hits, then you can, look at whatever teams you want to go to or whatever. Same thing should happen in
And that's the same thing. I mean, it's just like what we talked about last week with Ohio State's problem. It levels the playing field. If the transfer portal opens, the championship game is on January 20th. If the transfer portal opens on January 21st, everyone's equal. Okay, because if your coaches are leaving or not, or a day or so, it's fine. But like, as we mentioned with Ohio State, is if they don't beat Tennessee, Ryan Day is probably gone. But he'll be gone 2 or 3 weeks after the transfer portal opened, and the Ohio State clock resets.
Mm.
I mean, and there's already kids leaving. So if he leaves, and and they would be the only ones left in the portal. I mean, Kalen DeBoer and Kirby Smart are out there like, hey, I got shit tons of money. Come on.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like right now, I was reading the quarterback for Washington State. I think it's Mater. Um, you have Oklahoma and Miami are like paying top dollar to get him to come to those two schools, and they were talking about the amount of money that these alumni are giving these schools to get the top players. He said I've never seen anything like it. He said I'm not talking about like like 5 million, 10 million. Talk about 45 to 50 million, 75 million. These boosters and these alumni coming together, put money to give these schools like, hey, go get that quarterback, get you a couple of guys on that line to anchor that defense. Like he said, they're paying top dollar to get these transfers.
Yeah.
So
There is an article right now on the ESPN front page for college football. The headline of the article says, "Oh shit, here come all the billionaires."
yeah, so I mean it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how the teams fare when it's all said and done as far as who got the top uh you know transfer portal uh players and things of that nature. And then I was reading something about Colorado is getting some uh, Colorado's getting some transfer guys from they got one guy from Alabama and they have a couple of individuals from another SEC school, and that was shocking to me because usually once you're in the SEC you stay there because if you play in the SEC you get the best uh, uh, you get the best competition, which propel you for the NFL. But now you got guys transferring out of the SEC,
There's a
which
very key piece of that you kind of glossed over. Okay, they are transferring out of the SEC into Deion Sanders' system.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
and so these kids believe that Dion will get them prepped for the NFL better than someone like Kirby Smart, than than Kalen DeBoer. Do you know who else will probably get them better prepared for the NFL?
oh Belichick.
Yeah, probably one of the best coaches ever in the NFL.
Hmm.
And I heard a point and I was like, that's damn good. They were talking about, well, can Bill recruit? Can he do all this? It's like, wait a second. We're talking about a guy that multiple times misinterpreted the rules of football. You don't think he's going to pull some shady shit to get players?
What do you mean misinterpreted? He didn't misinterpret the rules. He completely understood the rules and used them in ways that people never used them before.
Yeah.
That's not misinterpretation. That's maximizing your knowledge of the rule book.
Yeah.
I will say that the spying or the recording, gray area. The footballs, like Tom Brady's small balls, that's again a gray area that it can go either way. But again, if you want to play with Tom Brady's small balls, that's all you.
Yeah. So is there any validity in Arch Manning potentially going to North Carolina?
I've seen multiple posts about Arch Manning going different places, and I don't
Yeah.
believe a goddamn thing.
Yeah,
So
because Ewers is he staying another year or is he going to draft?
nobody knows. He should
Mm,
go.
yeah.
I heard that Oregon's trying to make a push to get him.
Yeah, and see, and here's kind of the question is, okay, all of these schools, Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, USC, they have SMU, they have deep pockets and
Yeah.
can pay these kids whatever the fuck they want.
Hmm.
Okay, if I'm a kid and Michigan offers me $10 million, okay, and North Carolina with Belichick offers me $10 million, and Deion Sanders offers me $10 million. The money's not the question. The
Right.
question then becomes which of those schools is going to prepare me to make more money in the future.
That's true. Yeah.
And honestly, if I'm a kid and I've got four schools, okay, Michigan, Alabama, UNC, Colorado, with their current coaching staff, all money being equal, do you know where I'm going? Well, I mean, I would go to Michigan, but just normal kid.
I
Um,
was gonna say, I know where you going.
yeah, if the kid was smart, they would probably go to Colorado
Mhm.
because Dion's going to prepare them for the NFL, and the competition will be less than it would be at Alabama. You can put up bigger numbers.
I, I agree. Um, also too, I think of the play. It's like the road to the playoffs too could is a thing as well because if you would have told us that Boise State would be in the college football playoffs, we'd be like, "Fuck out of here!"
Mm, I think one of us, I forget which one, but I think one of us actually called Boise State being the Group of Five representative.
I don't like that Big 12 thought process you got going on there because iron sharpens. No, because iron sharpens iron. So you want to go play in a JV league and put up numbers and then be in a complete shock when you get in the NFL your rookie year?
If I'm an 18-year-old, you're not thinking that far.
Ugh, I don't understand where this world's going.
Um, I mean, could there be opportunities? So let's say, for instance, if let's say if Colorado has, another winning season, could there be an opportunity for Colorado to go to the Big 12?
No. But they're already in the Big 12.
I mean, not Big 12, Big 10. I'm sorry,
No,
Big 10.
no. I think
No.
the conferences are kind of steady right where they are. I could see the Big 12 expanding, but I don't see them losing play or losing teams.
Mm.
Unless the only way that would happen is if the Big Ten and the SEC say, "Fuck y'all, we're doing our own thing," and then Colorado, and then probably not even Oklahoma because they're in the SEC. Um, Colorado might be the only, maybe Clemson or Florida State might join those two. But that's the
Mm.
only way I would see that is if the SEC and the Big Ten just do their own thing. Now they might after this year, because as we mentioned earlier, Boise got a bye. Going back to BJ's point, they played the game with the rules that were specified.
Mm.
They just happened to get the bye. The
Mm.
whole idea was that the four big conferences would get a bye, and the Group of Five would just be kind of stuck. But
Mm.
the way they worded it, if it happens again, or if let's say the SEC is the fifth top ranked conference winner for whatever reason, cannibalization, just bad year, whatever,
Mm.
and they don't get a bye in the next round, then there's be some talk of revamping everything, maybe a 16-team playoff so no one gets buys, or the SEC and Big Ten just doing their own thing.
Mm.
So I am glad you brought up the playoffs with Boise, because I do want us to pick the games this week. So the way we're going to do it is we're just going to do the playoff games this week, and then next week we'll do some of the bigger bowl games. Because I looked at the schedule, the only bowl game that had teams that we even knew
Mm.
was Tulane versus Florida, which I think is like Friday. So we'll be back before the other games kick in. So I figured we'll just do the playoff games this week. Um, for college, we're not as good as we are in the pros. College, I am leading at 38 and 35. BJ and Dorian are tied at 37 and 36. So we're basically the same. Okay, so we will start with the Indiana Hoosiers and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. At the time that I pulled this, Notre Dame was a 7.5 point favorite.
I'll go with Notre Dame. Indiana ran into a ranked team and got freight trained.
Dorian?
Yes, Sam. I'm going Fighting Irish.
Yeah, I mean, the betting public agrees with us. I'm going Notre Dame as well. I think this has been bet up to 11.5. So next one is BJ's favorite team in the playoffs, the Clemson Tigers versus the Texas Longhorns. Texas is the 11.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas.
Dorian?
Oh, um, I'm going to. They said 11.5 point favorite. I don't know if I believe Texas is going to win, but I'm going to take Clemson for the spread. I mean, to
to
I'm gonna take
cover.
the points with Clemson.
Okay. Um, I don't think Clemson has the offense to challenge that Texas defense. I think Texas wins by 14. So okay, okay. SMU versus the James Franklin coached Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State's an 8.5 point favorite.
I'm going SMU for the shocker. Of course, I don't know if it's a shocker. SMU's a ranked team and they're playing Penn State.
Yeah.
Yeah, me, I'm going to SMU. I've been talking about SMU all season, man. Like they had the hiccup against Clemson, and I think the reason being they did because I think they underestimated Clemson, honestly. But if they would have saw Clemson like they were playing like in Alabama or any other team, I think the SMU would have won pretty handsomely. But I pick SMU.
Yeah. I'm thinking SMU because BJ hit it on exactly. SMU is a ranked team. Penn State, James Franklin does not do well against ranked teams. So I'm going to SMU. Okay. The game where it's supposed to be cold but not snowy. The game time temperature is supposed to be 21 degrees in Columbus. Tennessee Volunteers versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State is a 7.5 point favorite. Looking at the ticket sales, it looks like Tennessee has about 36% of the ticket sales. So not really a home game for Ohio State. If that means anything.
I'm going Tennessee.
I'm going Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah, I know people at home can't see this, but this number right here, 227 yards a game rushing for Tennessee. They are going to run it down to Ohio State's throats. And I think they're going to be able to stop the passing offense that Chip Kelly wants to prove that, hey, this was a fluke. I'm going Tennessee as well. So, BJ, just for your own edification, if you picked Notre Dame, SMU, Texas, and Tennessee to win, $10 wins you 183.
No, I got $10 to lose.
So, just saying.
Won my little 130 this weekend in the NFL, though.
So we'll talk about the NFL segment. In fact, we'll take a break and we'll come back with that segment. So.